Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Karen, episode 38. Today, we are going to be talking about putting your head down, putting those blinders on, staying in your lane, finishing strong, reaping the rewards, being able to bask in the glory of that winner's circle, and then do it all over again. Okay. So today we're really going to be jumping into the content and talking about fully understanding what it is about this weird phenomenon that happens. Yay, I can be seen and heard now. Sorry, some tech issues as always. And my nose always starts running, guys. I swear, I start channeling and my nose just starts running. I just get so excited, like clearing through it all. Sorry, my kids are out. They're having breakfast. They're doing all that thing. Their dad was working late, so he is sleeping still. So if you can hear them, my apologies. So right now, the most important thing that we really need to be focusing on is the fact that we have this weird tendency to want to be the perpetual student. Like we have this big goal. We want to do the thing. We want to make $1 billion empire. We want to sell out our courses. We want to change the world. We want to be the winner in our circle, right? We want to win the race, whatever it is, our big dream. We have this big dream that keeps us up every single night. Hello, everyone. Hey, Erin. Hey, hi, everybody. So excited to have you here. So again, there's this weird phenomenon where we tend to put on those blinders, to put on that focus, or not, we don't have the blinders on. We're just like, someone help me, please. Like, and you're just constantly searching, and you're constantly consuming, and you're bringing in all this information, which is great, especially for those of you who are trying to break out of your prison. In my new signature course that I'm working on right now, my cornerstone course, no, I am not Hindu, but I do love the Hindu tradition. So yes, I do have Shiva and Ma Durga behind me. But if you came into my room, I have all sorts of things. I talk about this all the time. I have Mother Mary and Sekhmet and Thoth and Green Tara and Kuan Yin and a bunch of dragons and a bunch of Unitarian Universalist stuff. Like I'm just one with God. I got Jesus over there. I got my Bible. I love source and spirit, and I want to just consume all the stories that other humans have told about their connection to source, because it's so individual and such a beautiful experience. Which is what I'm all about, which is why I'm finally putting all of my madness into a method that's going to be available here soon. I'm going to tell you more about it at the end of this episode, actually. But the biggest thing is that when you're breaking out of your prison, it's super important to try to consume that other information. You start noticing the synchronicities that the universe is providing, is that you have this idea, I wonder if life could be that way. And the next day a book crosses your desk and it's totally confirming everything that you just thought. And you start noticing the magic just in those little things, just these little things like, oh, I heard this person speaking on it. And then this other person in a totally different field was talking about something super similar. And so when you have this ability to notice those synchronicities, then you start getting curious. And it's once you start getting curious, you start developing a dream. You're like, okay, so life isn't the way that I thought it was. So there is this new realm of possibilities. Ooh, there's this whole sport that I can play. I didn't even know this sport existed. Okay. And I'm going to call it sports. And like, you're going to hear a lot of race car driving analogies, horse racing, and sports analogies with this one, guys, just because it's the easiest way to ground it in for us, especially because it's a pretty big idea that we all understand. Like, we understand it, but we don't know it. And you guys know how I am. I'm about knowing that shit in your bones, not just like, yeah, I understand. Like, I get it, Karen. Like, I want you to know it and feel it in your heart and in your bones, that this is what May is going to be for you. So just for a second, let's talk about breaking out of the prison the past few years, leaning into the feelings and guide for resources has been huge. Thank you for playing the part for me. Excited to keep connected. Me too, Bridget. I'm so excited. I love how the internet works. Like you can just have this whole world essentially, this whole life, right? It's really interesting because my whole business and my whole, like a lot of my support system is here via social media, and my husband's is via his like video game. And it's really interesting that like we don't have a lot of support in person, but and yet we both together feel like we're supported and we're growing and doing those things because of the internet. It's pretty awesome. So what I want to talk about again is when you're breaking out of that prison, you want to continue to follow that breadcrumb. You want to keep following those breadcrumbs, those pieces that your super conscious mind, your higher self have left for you along the trail for your human mind to pick up. So this will show up in ways of like all of a sudden you start seeing angel numbers all the time, or like 5 people in 1 week recommend the same book to you. Okay. And you want to really just be open to receiving. That's a very age of like Isis sort of belief. So the age of Isis, the Aeon of Isis, was really all about the mothering, the birthing, the creation, the like the possibilities of like what if. You start becoming this like this curious child again of like, I wonder if I could live with my experiences without the trauma associated, because you can't, like, unless you go undergo some super intense, really crazy level like hypnotherapy and all this stuff to like repress your memories and memory wipes and all this stuff, you're going to always have the memory, excuse me, of whatever trauma it is, whatever your story is. And the interesting thing about trauma is that it's subjective. Okay, no one's trauma is objectively more than someone else. Now, society might try to tell us this. Society might try to say, Karen, you're fucking crazy. Like, if someone gets raped, that's a whole lot worse than getting spanked. But in the mind of a child, especially if this happens to you when you're a child, when you don't really understand the roles of the world, and especially, and even more so if you've had a protector entity. So if you had not spousal abuse, but like your parents were the ones causing the abuse, emotional, physical, mental, any sort of abuse, or your sibling, someone that was supposed to be in like that guardianship role, if they were the attacker, it doesn't matter what level of the attack is, trauma is experienced the same in the brain. The brain actually experiences you getting yelled at the same way as it experiences you getting slapped. So if you're someone who, like me, for years and years and years, I didn't hit my kids, but I yelled at them because I was still trying to instill that fear of God. Because as far as I was concerned, parents had to yell at their kids to get them to understand. And it wasn't until I allowed for my own like prison of what that meant. Like, I was like, I spent years in therapy because of that shit though. Like, am I really doing this again? And I have this unique situation where I'm actually living in the house that I grew up in. So I start having these moments where I'm like, wait, I'm yelling, but am I getting yelled at? This is a conversation that I had when I was a kid, like, and I'm yelling at my oldest. My oldest is the one who bears the brunt of this, unfortunately, just because he was around before I had figured all this out. I started breaking down these ideas around the time that my daughter was born, which was about 3 years ago. And he was like about 9 by then. So we have just that relationship. And I understand that. And I'm doing everything I can to repair that rupture. But that was a rupture that had happened over a course of 9 years that we now are reworking our relationship. And there would be times where I was just having this crazy deja vu of like, am I getting yelled at? Is my dad yelling at me? Am I yelling at my kid? Like, what is happening? And afterwards, I would just kind of like stop and we'd have a conversation. I explained to him, like, I'm sorry, that was my reactionary. Like, I want to talk to you about this, but I need a minute. And I started to be able to realize that I don't have to be my dad, and I don't have to be my mom, and I don't have to subscribe to the story that I was told by them about their parents. And I don't have to subscribe to the story that society tells me about how parents get their kids to listen. And as that idea just started tingling in my brain, all of these books started showing up in my life. The Whole Brain Child, No Drama Discipline, The Yes Brain, Braving the Wilderness. There's like everything by Brene Brown. Like Brene Brown just like came into my life and blew it up. Genshin Tarot. Like literally, I gave birth to my daughter, and it was like she gave birth to me because I gave birth to her unassisted at home. My midwife showed up 15 minutes after she was born. That was not something that I planned to do. But I needed a major catalyst and a major change. And that is why so many people end up finding me, because usually they're in the middle of that part. They've figured out that they want to change. They figure out that they are the game changer in their paradigm for their entire family, their entire bloodline, that they have a soul mission that is deep, and they've been doing the work already, and they've started coming to terms. But now they're like, I feel healed. I feel like I'm really good with who I was and all the choices that I made back then, but I'm ready to move on and create. And that's where this blinders part comes through. I totally agree. People also get a lot of personal power from their story, including putting down others' suffering if they are, yeah, exactly. I've been seeing angelic like crazy. Yes, totally. So I tell you this story because you have to realize that trauma in a child's brain, when you look at it neuroscientifically, it registers in their brain the same. And other people, like, so think about someone who was at the towers for 9/11 and survived. There's people out there that ended up killing themselves afterwards, who are totally depressed, who still to this day live with crazy survival guilt. And then there's other people that took that chance as, oh my God, God just gave me a second chance at life, and they're living a totally different life in memory of, not because they feel guilty that they lived, but because they get a chance to live. The same traumatic experience occurred to all of them, but each person is dealing with that extremely global level trauma in a different way. So that's why I say when I work with someone, like I can give you the nuts and bolts when we're in groups, but I have to get in there and like really massage out what's going on. I'm a body worker. All of this came because I had this beautiful client that was going through a life transformation, and I was also working on him, and I felt the connection to his body and was able to help him speak to his body was channeling through me, and I was speaking to him through his own psyche essentially. And I was breaking down my own understandings of how the body worked, because I myself was receiving similar work in my own sessions, right? We're always our best ideal client. And the best way to learn something is to teach it again, right? So I was able to then shift my superpower from having to massage people to then move it onto this online space. But in that course, I've had different projected goals. And I often would find myself where I see a lot of my clients, which is they're almost there, right? So earlier this week, I posted about how you wouldn't run 25 miles of a marathon and then just like get into your friend's car and go to the donut shop and be like, yeah, that was sweet, we did that, and go try to go start a whole new project, right? And yet I see it all the time with leaders. You're almost done, like you've almost launched it, and all of a sudden everything starts blowing up. The website's not going to get launched. The credit card processing isn't going to go through. The graphics aren't coming out. This is happening. All these things. You forgot to pay your sales tax, and now the government's like, all these things start happening right at the very end. Just like a marathon where they're like, oh my God, like even the most experienced marathon runner, you watch them in that last mile and a half, you see something click, especially in the champions, especially in the ones that are hungry for what's going to happen next. They cannot wait to taste the victory and be in the winner's circle. And that person has energetic Olympian status as well as physical. So what it takes to be an amazing athlete, the world's winningest race car driver, Lady Gaga, and any person in the entire world, Pink, anyone who's won those awards, who has done the thing that you could sit there and dream about all day long, they all have the exact same parts of leadership that you can possess right now in your own life. You don't have to be running a business to apply the principles of superconscious leadership. It's a whole life alignment system. It gets every single facet of your life tuned in and clicked into your highest potential timeline by allowing you to rewrite your story so that all that trauma is no longer trapped and you can use the energy as the fuel to move you forward. But once you get to this point, again, so many people collapse. The expansion is too much. They don't know how to hold the energy. They make a whole lot of money and they just let it slip through their hands. The pipes burst. All of these different things. They happen in my life, guys. I post about them all the time so you can see that I'm not just like blowing smoke. This is how it works. But you can either see it as, oh my gosh, I'm going through another up level. Of course, this is what happens in my life. And just be like an entitled child about it. Like, yep, now I know for sure that I'm going to get that thing because all of this bad shit's happening in my life. Or you can just laugh at it all and be like, yeah, I love when I'm going to hit a new income goal that I play this game with myself where shit starts breaking around me. And I don't know when the up level is coming, but I know that this is one of my patterns. And if I didn't want this pattern, I could choose something else. My pattern used to be physical. I used to get super bad stomach aches, horrible gastrointestinal issues. I'd have to be on the brat diet for like a week straight. Just like whole body shakes. I'd have to sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. And now, funny thing happens, like I leave my sink on for 2 hours and flood both my bathrooms. I'm starting to blow light bulbs too this week. Yes, I love blowing light bulbs, right? So that energy, that frequency, that is what happens. So you're at that point where you've got all this trapped trauma, you have all this trapped energy, you have all this story. And then you've moved through it, you've changed your story, you're like, no, this is who I am, this is what I do. And you get to this point where you're at this crossroads, okay? You're just at this point where you're like, I know that I could do anything, but what is it that I really want to do? And you make that choice and you start going along. At that point, that's when you need to put the damn blinders on, okay? You stop consuming. When you've gotten to a point where you're like, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, then you put on those blinders, you put your head down, and you walk down that path. And every single day you wake up and you say, I am in the timeline in which I become, which I am. I'm in the timeline in which I am creating a $50,000 a month and helping 20 more people join my VIP membership group as I launch my Cornerstone course, right? So you make your affirmations really personal, and it's to help you stay on the same timeline. You say them for 5 minutes straight in the morning, you say them for 5 minutes straight midday, and you say them for 5 minutes straight in the evening. And if you can get on even that level of a habit, your energy will continuously be tuned in to the timeline in which you have that thing. And then you can meet it with your coach and you can say, okay, these memories have been coming up and this pattern's been coming up. And we go in there and we start rewriting your memories. Your memories are your memories. Nobody else can go in there and make your memories feel the way that they feel or do what they do. If you have a memory that you love because it's just the perfect day, that day might have sucked for the other person that you were with. That day might have been the most awkward, crazy, insane day that they've ever experienced in their whole life. But for you, it was a perfect day. It's the same day. Your memories are your memories. So instead of being trapped by your memories and what happened to you, figure out how you moved through that. Learn the lesson. Move through it so that you're not continuously replaying it in this fucked up little game of, well, this happened to me when I was a little kid, so it's just going to keep happening. We often go to therapy and we come up with a whole lot of excuses afterwards. We're like, oh, this is the way that I am. My therapist justified the way that I am because of all this shit. That's why life coaches, we don't tend to give a shit about your past. We want to know who you are right now and where you're going. Okay. My coach is the most winningest race car driver in the 300, the quarter mile drag race. She would get into these cars that went from 0 to 300 miles an hour in less than a second, like 5 G's off the start line, could kill her. She could have been killed by another person. The engine could have blown up. The brakes could have failed. All these things. She won 649 out of 650 races over her career. When I tell you that I train energetic Olympians, it's because I myself am being trained by the top level sports race car drivers. The people who are the top in their field is who I always find, because it's what I demand of myself. My standards are so high that I don't allow myself to feel beaten when I fail. I learn and I grow and I move on. I fall on my face. I get my ass handed to me. I feel the shame and the embarrassment and the guilt, and I move through all the emotions, and then I bottle it up and I use it as rocket fuel to move on to the next level. And that's what I teach every single one of my clients to do if they're willing to put in the work. This is simple, simple shit. It is not easy. Okay? Whew, yes, I love this. Just what yes, I love that. I'm one of those right now, and I'm holding strong, not collapsing. It feels incredible. Yes, holding the energy. So when you reach that point where you're holding the energy, that's like in a marathon, you notice that like there's the guys that like get ahead at the front, but then like they in the middle, they're like not super fast. You notice the guys that end up tending to win. Like there might be, okay, again, if you're talking like Olympic level, you know that there's those couple of people that are just like in the lead the whole fucking time. But if you're talking about just like your community sort of level marathon, you notice that the ones who actually end up winning are the ones that had a good start, but right in the middle, they slow down and they start doing less better, right? They're like, they're going a little bit further with their stride. So they're not taking as many steps and they're almost like floating through the air, but they have this really good, solid pace, right? And you don't know what's going on in their head, but they're just so focused. That's that relentless focus, that relentless discipline. They have ran this race a million times in their head already. Okay. That's what's so amazing about the fact that I have such intense bodywork background is that I understand not only the neuromuscular side of things, but or the neurological side of things, because I geeked out on neuroscience after having 3 kids and childhood development. But I also know the body and the somato-emotional responses and how the best athletes in the world will like seclude themselves up and not know anything. They don't know who they're going to be. There's this boxer. He was the best boxer ever. I don't remember his name, but he had a month-long training where he was totally cut off from his family, his wife. He only took like 2 weeks before he stopped taking phone calls. Like he never found out the name of the person that he was boxing. He did the same training every single time. And he boxed that match over and over and over and over and over in his head. 3 days before he stopped taking any phone calls, 2 days before he stopped doing this, he just started getting more and more and more and more focused on the fight and kept fighting the same fight in his head, so that by the time he went out there, it didn't matter who his opponent was. He had already fought and won this fight, and he is now still like the best boxer of all time. I will have to remember what his name is. It is that level of discipline that most of you lack. And I'm going to give you the tough mother loving, because that's why you guys come to me. You love my fire and you love that I tell it how it is. At the end, when the world is sending you all those things, those are distractions. Those are your trainer being like, yeah, well, what if he does one of these? And what if he does one of those? And it doesn't matter. You are prepared. You are deflecting because your focus is on winning. You are now synced into your body that you're not even thinking anymore. So that's what I mean by the super conscious part of you is what's running, what's going on, instead of the unconscious, which is all of your like weird, kinky, shadowy desires to be poor and to be rejected and to be all the shadowy things that society says are bad, that are really just a part of duality. Those are like your unconscious thoughts, like all the things that like, oh, that'd be really fun to experience, even though societally it's a really fucked up thing to do. Like, oh, maybe it'd be really fun to have an affair on my husband. Like, oh, don't go do that. But that's what the part that was driving her, even if it was something that was totally like, she didn't really want to, but she kept repressing it and repressing it and repressing it, that it just kept finally showing up. And then she thinks, oh, maybe that's a sign that I should do it. And it's because she's in that shadowy, like you can manifest whatever you want at any time. It's how clean is your energy. So people that are like, I didn't mean to relapse, but it just seemed like every single time that I was doing stuff, like it was just there. And I felt like it was a sign from the universe to try it. It was because you were putting yourself in the situation like you wanted that, and you just kept pushing it down, that it was a bad thing to want, but it kept showing up. Same things, like the biggest thing that shows up is in unexpected expenses. surprise bills, old creditors that you thought were handled. You go to try to open a new bank account and there's an old bank account that's stopping you. Those sorts of things are still just like old choices showing back up. Like, are you sure you really want to change? Are you sure you're doing this for the right reasons? And then as soon as you align your energy, all of a sudden, like the path to your dream. So don't settle for less than your dream. If you ever find yourself settling for less than what you actually want, it's because you are presenting yourself with opportunities to cheat. Like, not even cheat as in you're going to still win. It's like, okay, I'm going to have a cheat day and then never get back on my diet or my regimen. I don't believe in diets, your regimen, right? If you have a reason why you're having a cheat day, like it's your cousin's wedding and you're going to be able to very quickly get back on, that's fine. But don't be like, oh, well, I'm going to do this and that, right? Part of the deep connection I feel to you, neuroscience and rewiring. Oh, yeah, neuroscience, it's my thing, Bridget. It's my thing. Magic is just neurological rewiring too. Like, honestly, once you start really getting into magic and how it works and the ability to command your will and have that unified will with your unconscious and your conscious and really become super conscious. Super conscious is really just a really fancy name for magician. Like, I lead my life from my super conscious because my unconscious and my conscious are so unified that I have to be careful about what I think at this point. When I think things, they happen, to the point where at one point, like, I had a conversation, was all like, I feel like I might like turn into Elliot from the Magicians and like think I hope you get hit by a bus and then like telekinesis someone's ass in front of a bus. So I've been having to be like really discerning and making sure that everything that I'm thinking and feeling is coming from that place of love and for the betterment of others. Because what do I always say? Leadership of Mother Teresa and the leadership of Hitler are only separated by one was doing it from fear and the other one was doing it from love. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing less work with the same payout. It's beautiful. Yes, beautifying your space. You got to make sure that you have a beautiful space to be doing your magic in. Yes, discernment. I love it. Discernment is such a big thing. The energy that we create and manifest in the depths. Yep, that's the shit. It's true. It really is. We create all of that in the depths. So once you start being aware, like, oh, I actually really like it when I like that this is my pattern. And again, you can change your pattern. So I like that I actually have like, my house is old. It needs to be fixed. I kind of like that it's starting to break to make me have to fix it versus literally like having to sit on the toilet every time I was having an up level. Like, it's still related to pipes in the toilet and cleaning, but it's different, right? So I've changed my pattern and eventually it'll just be gone because my love of scarcity and the more that I just love it and accept it as a part of my dualistic nature here as a human, but still know every day I'm on my timeline, which is unified with the divine will of the all, with the highest purpose, with my mission here on Earth to rejoin the planet with the intergalactic community. And doing that with leaders, with this ability to lead your life, to lead your own life first, like lead your life first, lead your family and your home, lead your business or your cause, lead your community, and then lead the world. It really is this like funnel where all of the stuff is coming in, and through each level you get to decide how much it really affects you, but you also know that you are affecting everything else too. Everyone's showing up in your life to play the role that you need them to play. The housewife that goes and has an affair still has to take responsibility for the fact that she was the one who was creating the situation, because deep down it's what she wanted. And then take like the responsibility of your authority and your power. That's a huge part of divinely parenting yourself. It's the part that also keeps you from finishing the race. Oh my God, I don't want to be responsible for that much money. Holy shit, I'd be responsible for the lives of how many people? Oh my God, if something happened. So all of a sudden, you're no longer in this age of Isis, like I was talking about, this age of creation. When you're running that race, you're really in the age of Osiris, this age of like death, where you are having ego death after ego death after ego death. Okay. So when you're in consumption mode, you're in that age of Isis, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to just take it all in. I'm going to break out of my prison. I'm going to fly free for a little while. I'm going to learn some things. And then you come to that crossroads and you make a choice that this is the direction I want to go. You have to kill all other timelines. And it's not that you kill them, it's that you're really merging them all together. You burn all the bridges to any other option. I told the story last week about how there's this in Think and Grow Rich. They talk about it in the first chapter, this old ancient army. This army went across the sea to fight an enemy, and the enemy outnumbered them like 100-1. And when they got there, the general ordered the ships be burned and said, the only way that we get home alive is if we win. We either die or we are victorious. And they won because they knew there was no other way out. Y'all keep giving yourselves ways out. Okay? You keep giving yourself these excuses. Well, if I actually do this, then I'm going to have to like put this on hold in my life, or, oh, well, maybe right now is the perfect time to write my book, and you let yourself get distracted, or all of a sudden your kids are going to start acting up and they're going to be going through some things, and you're going to feel like, oh, this is a sign that I'm supposed to be stopping, or you and your husband all of a sudden start fighting like constantly. It's the only thing that you can ever think about. And it's putting off the launch of your website. It's putting off the launch of whatever it is, because your ego is dying. Who you are in that powerhouse persona, who you are at the end of that race, who you are in the victory circle is not who gets off of the start line. You change, you morph, you transform, and you have to if you're going to win. Everyone else is going to drop out of the race. Everyone else is going to fall behind, because this is only your race to run. You know that you're ready to finish the race when you are on your own. You might have one person next to you. And it's not that you don't have all these fans cheering you, okay? I'm talking about in the race. And even then, at the very end, your coach isn't finishing the race for you. I'm not finishing the race for you. Your husband, your kids, your mother, your grandmother, no one else who wants it for you can get it for you. You have to do it. That's why it sounds so selfish, which especially for women is a really hard thing for us to do, because we are taught to always put our family first, and that we have to just kind of be in the background and figure our shit out later. When is later going to be enough for you? When are you finally going to set the boundaries of, no, my working hours are from this time to this time. No, I am not available for you to have to do that right now. No, I am hitting this goal. No, you start saying no a whole lot more as you get closer to the finish line, because you can see it, you can taste it, you can smell it. You have every single part of your sensory on board. You have fought this fight 100 million times. You have run this race in your brain. But when you go to physically take those last final action steps that you need to, you falter. You get distracted. You see something else because you didn't fully put your blinders on. You're scrolling social media. Oh, maybe that's a good idea. Oh, I'm almost done with my course, but I just watched this really good podcast. And like, no, stop consuming and create it and finish strong. And then bask in the glory of those launches, those 50K launches, those 10K launches, those 100 people signing up for your mastermind, those 300 new volunteers, those, whatever it is that you're creating, finally leaving your husband who's not helping you, or finally getting your kid into that amazing school for autism that you've been trying to get him into, but you were having to jump all these hoops and you didn't know if that's what you needed. Whatever it is for you personally, because leadership is leadership is leadership. I don't care if you're leading your life, your business, your cause, your country. You have to do it with a unified will. You cannot any longer be fractal. You can't just be thinking about creating and just be thinking about the ego deaths. You have to come together. And that's the age that we're in right now. It's the age of Horus. It's the age of the merging of these divine masculine and divine feminine qualities, this birth and creation cycle. Because as soon as you have won the race, as soon as you've lapped up all of that delicious milk in the winner's circle, I'm thinking about Speed Racer right now, you have the press conferences, you do some things, you're sitting and you're living in that bliss for a few days. And then what happens? Get back to training. There's a new race to be won. There's something new to be created, and you will be surprised, especially those of you who have been sitting on especially those of you who have been sitting on a project for a while. You'll be shocked at how quickly the next idea just like kind of falls out. It's kind of been sitting there for a while, but because you couldn't keep your word on this, you couldn't just keep your head down on the really most important, like, cornerstone piece of what it is that you're creating in your empire. You've been distracted by all these other things. Oh, maybe this mastermind, maybe this, and none of them have really been working. The actual next level genius is sitting right there waiting for you to finish the thing that you're just like, oh, I just don't want to do it. I've been running this race for so long. I'm so tired. I don't want to do it. Whatever that thing is in your life that you know that you should be doing right now, that you've been putting off for days, weeks, months, years, that is the thing that needs to be done, that you need to just finish it and put that head down. Put those blinders on. Stop consuming. Stop asking your friends for advice. Stop talking to your therapist about it. Stop asking your coach. Just do the damn thing already. And if you can't do it, figure out your plan. Take those actionable steps every single day. This is what I'm doing. This is who I'm being. I am someone who has, and that person who has that is this type of person. And she shows up every day doing this, 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 and this. And when you can really feel that down in your bones and constantly be going back to that, I am living in this timeline. Hello, my name is Karen Terrace, and I am going to be the next president of the United States of America. Hello, my name is Karen Terrace, and I am going to be the next president of the United States of America. Who do I remind you of? Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Right? Relentless focus and discipline for your dream life. What race did you start in January that you haven't finished? What seeds did you plant at Imbolc in February that you can now harvest today? It might not be the big thing. You might have planted some really delicious things in your garden back in February, and you're still planting some things. And right now, all you can do is get like a little bit of the spinach, and all the asparagus is ready. And oh yeah, I got some Brussels sprouts, but you are waiting for those tomatoes. You are waiting for those squash. You are waiting for something in that garden, and you're just going to have to keep waiting, and you're going to have to love the little treats that you get, the little rewards along the way. You know, during a marathon, they have the little water stations. You have people like at different points cheering you on, because it is hard to keep going, and you soak up every single tiny victory. Even if that victory is finally filing your taxes, even if that victory is being like, fuck it, I'm going to put in the $1,000 a month and hire this coach and see what the fuck I can really do when I put my head down and blinders on for 30 days. What can I do when I have someone in my corner every single day on my ass, keeping me accountable, keeping me focused? Your trainer is there during your entire process, but you need them the most right as you are getting closer and closer and closer to the finish line. Do not fool yourself and think that you can finish this race alone if you've already been running it alone for a long time, because it might be the reason why you've stopped yourself, because you're still just too unsure. You need a new, fresh pair of eyes on it, someone to help you focus it down even more, someone who can say, you know what, this part I love, but this part is just, it's unnecessary bullshit. Someone who's going to kick your ass the way that you are demanding it to be kicked, because you are actually bringing them into your existence, not vice versa. The teacher appears when the student is ready, not the other way around. Let's see, comment. Hey, Karen, there are demons behind you? No, this is Shiva. I mean, he's standing on a demon, but this is Shiva. This is Ma Durga. They're both gods. This is like oneness. This is like the all, the masculine all. And she's the divine feminine. Like this is my life, guys. Not demons. Let's see here. Discernment. Started watching The Magicians in quarantine. I love it. Ha! Yes, it's so good. That's so good. You're legit speaking exactly to where I am in my journey right now. Yes. What is discernment? What is Google? Google it. Literally, like, guys, I've used really big words. So if you need to Google it, Google it. I'm not gonna, it's deciding between like what it's your choices. Love your freaking hair. I love you, Maya. Hi. I got to make you part of my Sunday routine, Lol. Thanks for this. You're welcome. Yep, I'm here every Sunday, 10 a.m. Sometimes a little late. Let's see. Sorry. Thank you for being you. Yes, sweet. Love it. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys today. Oh no, it's not in a spiritual sense, Isabel. It's your whole life. So that's the thing that is like so important for you guys to really and truly understand with all of this. I don't teach you for your business. I don't teach you for your housewifingness, even though a lot of my clients are housewives who have businesses. I don't teach you to just be a better parent. My methodology is really whole life alignment. And to be whole, like wholly aligned, fully. I'd rather be a whole person than a good person. That is a famous Carl Jung quote that I live and breathe by. It's the reason why some people are like, wow, I felt really attacked. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry that you felt attacked. It wasn't my wasn't trying to attack you, but I am a mama bear, mama lioness. Like, I'm ready to sink my teeth into any problem. And I'm not here to mess around. I'm not here to coddle anybody. I'm here to let you know that I show up so big and so bright as a reflection of your capacity to show up big and bright. It is my honor to stand here and show you what you are capable of if you just put you first. My friend Carrie uses the hashtag you do you, or you do you first, right? And we all know about you do you, boo. I want you to do that from a super conscious mindset. I want you to live and breathe the goddess that you actually are, to be your highest self here on earth. That's what it means to birth your dragon. It's why I call myself the dragon doula, because I'm not here trying to help you just move yourself from unconscious to conscious living. I'm here to help you really actualize the fullness of your potential here while on this planet. What can you really do? What are you actually capable of? What are the dreams that you are too afraid to speak out loud because you know that you are powerful enough to do it? And as soon as you say it, it becomes real. And all you have to do is every single day wake up and repeat, I am this. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Right? Right? Isn't your life mission worth completing? Isn't your purpose for existing and going through all of the trauma and all of the shit and all of the lessons and all of the growth and all of the losses and all of the suffering, isn't it your time to win? To stand in that winner's circle, knowing that you are the one who did it. No one else did it but you. You made sure that you made the right choices. You hired the right team. You did the right work for you and no one else. Not for your mom, not for your dad, not for your husband or your kids. No one else did it but you, and you did it for you because you are the creator of your universe. No one knows how to be you better than you. No one knows what you want more than you want. No one knows what you want more than you know what you want. So why are you continuously making excuses for not doing the thing you know you need to do? You know you need to do it, so why are you not doing it? Because you're terrified of what that means. If that thing gets done, holy shit, what do I do now? That's why I teach my clients to not go for what they want now. They go for the next thing. Don't go for a 6-figure business, go for a 7-figure business. Don't go for senator, go for president. Don't go for comfortable, go for passion. Whatever it is that you truly deeply want, that's what the next version of you, she's dreaming that. And we start moving you so fast along the timeline that you're no longer quantum leaping through your life. You are flying, you are soaring, you are a motherfucking dragon. You are magic. You think and it exists. You are powerful beyond all measure. And the only thing stopping you is you. It's you. No one else is stopping you because you're the one who's creating all of the illusions of blocks. And as soon as you realize what the block is, you remove the block and then you can do something about it. But you think, oh, okay, now that I know the block, how do I get rid of it? No, knowing that the block exists is how you get rid of it. It's no longer blocking your subconscious because you're consciously aware of it and then it's gone. You are the mirror to something huge and not everyone is even close to there, and it's intimidating for them and confusing, but that's their thing and not yours. I know you know this, obviously, just stating it for the peeps in the back that feel this. It's actually beautiful to embrace all fear, friends, and make it your friend always. And it's the only way. True, Bridget. I love you. Okay, so that's this week. I hope you guys crush it in May. May is Taurus season. Grab that bull by the horns, put your face down, put your blinders on, focus, do the work you know you need to get done. And if you are ready to step that up, come and join us inside the Fearlessly Authentic Leadership Group. There are only 2 more weeks until I am changing it. The course is going to be finished. We're going to be moving it over. It's going to become a $97 per month monthly membership. It's changing completely in 2 weeks. So if you want to jump in right now and become a founding member, you're going to get all of the changes for no additional cost. It is $69 US one time charge to get in now before May 15th. If you wait until May 16th, it's going to be a recurring charge of $97 a month. It's going to be worth it no matter what, but I'm just letting you know if you want to get in, there's also a special one-on-one deal that is also going to be ending. You have to be in that group to get it, but it ends also on May 15th when everything shifts because I'm growing and expanding. I just really want to offer that out to you guys. May is crushed. Yes. So great. Sweet. Yes, Erin, that's amazing. Kay, I'm in. Awesome. Kay, everyone. I'm going to post it right here. .com/fearlessly authentic ship conference. Wow, it's just like the longest thing ever. I hope that works. I don't know how to spell the word fearlessly. All right. So that's there for you guys. We have weekly trainings. You get the 5-day masterclass. It's already there. Being a founding member, you guys, we're going to keep the Facebook group just where it is. It's going to turn into the founding members little group. I've got some ideas for you. So none of that contact is even going to be in the Mighty Network when we move over. So I'm really making this clean new not like a clean break, but I really want to make it a really clean transition over to Mighty Network. I'll be showing up still on Facebook for my weekly live streams, but I'm going to be focusing all my energy and attention in there starting in May. All my courses, everything will be there. So I love you all. Thank you, Erin. I'm excited too. Yes, Erica. Thank you, everyone. I know that Bridget and Isabel are already in there. We have so much fun. We have weekly training on Thursdays. We have so much amazing content, raising amazing people in there that we work with. So I love you all. Thank you for being here this week. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great week. I love you.